Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Heather.
And this is Conspiracies Unlocked. And today, I am going to talk about the missing Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. So, I heard about this many years ago when it first happened, but kind of forgot about it. It fell off my radar until, same with the plane. Dun dun dun.
Oh my god.
And then somebody actually mentioned it to me not too long ago, so I wanted to cover it because there are actually a lot of conspiracies as to what happened to the plane. Have you ever heard of it?
Only from you. Honestly, I hadn't heard it before that, so I don't really know much about it. I just know that it was a flight that disappeared in flight, coming from Malaysia, obviously, and to my knowledge, they really didn't know what happened to it, but I'm sure you're going to let me know.
Yes. So,
that's all I know.
Yeah.
Basically nothing.
I literally thought that it was like a plane that just went over the Bermuda Triangle and disappeared like the rest of them, because geographically, like, I don't know where anything is like at all. I know like United States, China is over,
yeah,
like that way, and Mexico's below, Canada's up, and then UK is that way. So that's all I got. And Russia's really big above China.
So when you were a kid, did you ever think that if you could dig in the sand, you could get to China?
I tried that a while. I definitely tried that. But then I looked, one time I looked at and I used to think, what, do the kids in China dig to us? Like, you know, I used to think to say, like, the opposite. Like, I wonder if they're, right now, if kids are trying to dig to me. Maybe we'll meet in the middle.
Exactly, and I would always try to dig to China because I always thought that China's on the other side of the world and that you could literally dig to it. Like, I thought I must have been, like, I don't know how old, like
6, 7,
and
yeah.
I really believed that you could. And I would try to get to China. Like, I want to go to China. Like, I want to go there.
We only had our lunchtime to do it, so I knew that we'd never do it before the end of lunch.
I never thought about it like
that. But yeah, no, I had a little bit of like time. I didn't know where I was in the world, but I knew what time I was at, and I knew that 25 minutes was not long enough to dig to China.
I never knew that concept.
I knew that it wasn't like flat on flat. I knew that there had to be like more to it. I finally, one time a few years ago, I did Google, like, what is exactly on the other side of the world to me, because I think me and Brad were talking about, like, digging to China.
Yeah.
And, it's not even China on the other side of the world of us. It's, like, in the middle of the ocean somewhere. It's not even fucking China. So had we made it, we would have popped up in an ocean somewhere, yeah. It was, like, super random, and I'm like, no fucking way. So we were never even going to China. We'd have to make some turns. Anyway, so, Malaysia is a country that's next to Thailand. I actually have the map here. It's, Indonesia, and it's underneath Thailand and Cambodia. Cambodia, did I say that right?
Cambodia,
yeah.
Cambodia, that's
right. Which is all underneath China.
So is it like
it's
an
south.
Island? It's an island south of
It's
China?
not even an island, because it's almost like a peninsula. Makes it all connected, almost like like Florida. You know how it's a peninsula that goes up,
yeah.
Except then the peninsula goes down,
yeah,
and then it gets bigger, just like Mexico, how it goes down and then it gets bigger. So it's kind of like that, but it doesn't get much bigger.
So
but it's almost like a Florida,
like land bridge, I guess, or like
I think it's bigger than Florida Keys.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the big Florida, yeah. And then, so you could take China, you could go south, and you could literally drive to Malaysia.
Oh, you can drive there, yeah.
Yeah, you could drive there. Yeah. You go through Thailand, and then you go down to Malaysia, according to this map.
Okay, for some reason, I always thought it was an island.
No, the island is Japan.
Well, I knew Japan was an island. Let me see the map. I gotta look at the map
Indonesia
again.
is an island. But see where the little dot is? It's actually part of the peninsula thing.
Oh, yeah, I see here, yeah.
Yeah, this one's... Yeah, Malaysia's part of it, and then Indonesia is not is an island.
Separate.
Yeah, it's separate.
Okay, maybe I was thinking of Indonesia.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know anything about geography. That's not any part of my forte whatsoever.
Well, that's why we have a map here. So
yeah,
that's good.
So we do have a map, and Heather is going to post the map. I showed her what map I wanted to be posted, so she is going to post the map.
Yes, I will.
Woohoo! So, okay, let's talk about Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. It departed from Kuala. I don't think it's supposed to be koala, but it's Kuala. Kuala. So not koala, but Kuala.
Yeah,
Kuala Lumpur International Airport, which is in Malaysia, on March 8th, 2014, at 12:41 p.m. MYT time.
What's MYT?
Well, it's very simple. Malaysia time.
Oh, Malaysia has their own time zone?
It doesn't, though, because it's the same as Beijing time. So I don't know why, like, it... So apparently UTC... I was looking this. It's either UTC negative or plus, so they're UTC plus 8.
I don't know what you just said. What's UTC? That reminds me of the
Universal
mall.
I know.
UTC is in La Jolla. It's a mall.
Yeah, the UTC mall. I don't know.
Isn't it in La Jolla?
Hold on.
Maybe it's not in La Jolla.
No, UTC Mall is in La Jolla.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the fancy high-end
La Jolla, California. We live in Southern California.
Yeah. Anyways, forget UTC. I think it's Universal Time Zone Central or something. Yeah. I'm not sure. Okay, everything goes off of that. And it's either plus or minus from wherever the... Oh, it's probably where the international date line is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
I'm all midline. I'm thinking dental.
We are like so... Oh, my God. Well, you just went to the dentist, too, so that's a thing. So you have dental on your
I
brain.
have dental on my mind, yeah.
All right. And Kuala Lumpur International is Malaysia's largest international airport. And Malaysia Flight 370 was scheduled to land in Beijing Capital International Airport in China at 6:30 p.m. local time of Beijing. So, but they're in the same time zone. So it was only supposed to be like a 5.5 hour flight. I do have the what it was supposed to be.
So that's a fairly short flight.
It takes about that long to get from here to. If you went straight through to Florida, I mean across America. Yeah. So it is pretty short for going international and everything.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the plane really quick because
what kind of plane?
Yeah, what
kind
of plane?
Passengers?
Why? Yeah, exactly. That they're not on some little tiny 12-person charter jet. They were on a Boeing 777-200ER, which is the world's largest twin-engine 767 and the largest quad-engine 747.
Oh, wow.
So it's a pretty large plane, but this particular plane can hold 282 passengers. Malaysia Flight 370 left with 239 passengers total.
Okay.
Including the pilot and the crew members.
Okay.
So they were about 50 under, give or take. And this particular plane can hold 82,000 pounds of jet fuel. And that amount of jet fuel for this plane could easily go for a solid 7 hours, 31 minutes.
So they have more than enough.
So this flight was only supposed to take 5 hours and 34 minutes and use approximately 10 to 23,000 pounds of fuel. So there's a 13,000 pound difference because they don't know because of the wind. It's gonna use more fuel if you're not going the same direction as wind.
Oh,
do you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that. Yeah.
So 82,000 pounds, whenever you look at it like, oh, well, if this was only supposed to take, let's say, 20,000 of pounds, and in 5 hours, then why would 82,000 only be 7 hours? And that is because that's worst case scenario. So technically 82,000, if you're in the right wind direction,
it
would probably go for, 12 20 hours. Who knows if you had wind on your way?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they should have had plenty of fuel to get where they needed to go. Plus
more than enough. And
yeah.
they definitely had enough to, if there was an issue trying to get to Beijing for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They would have enough fuel to land somewhere else.
Oh, like an emergency landing.
An emergency landing to so many other airports. Okay. Anywhere, really. Like, they could have probably damn near made it to Australia, or I'm not sure on the world map how close that is because I'm geographically, but I feel like Australia is right underneath. So the and also with this flight path that they're on, it departs from Malaysia every single day at the same time.
Oh, so this is not
new. This is a routine flight that happens just like every day at 12:20. San Diego goes to Las Vegas.
Oh,
every day.
Okay.
Like, sometimes there'll be more flights, sometimes there'll be less. And the last flight out of Las Vegas to San Diego is at 9:15.
Okay.
Like, it's the same thing. When we go racing up in Sacramento, it's the same thing. Like, I always have to catch the Monday flight at 8 a.m. I can't go on Sunday because the last flight is at 5 p.m. and we might still be racing. Okay. So I always have to get a hotel. You know what I mean? And it's been the same thing for 8 years. So, like, these certain flight paths, and those of you who fly know that they're always the same. There'll be extra here and there, or like maybe on, extras on Sundays and Fridays, or
if it's a holiday, they
might have extras. Yeah. But mainly, it's pretty routine. They have the same people, the same flight, and it's very mundane.
So it's nothing out of the ordinary that they would be on this flight path.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden, it disappears. So it's like they went on this 5-hour flight, and then they're gone. It's almost like Gilligan's Island. So like they went on a 3-hour cruise, and then they're stuck on an island somewhere. It's like that, but nobody knows where it went.
But they have radar, right? So they're tracking it on their radar, obviously, and it's like bloop, 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 and then nothing. It's just, there's nothing on the radar. Is that what you mean by disappear? Like, it's just nothing.
Yeah, I'll get into that. But yeah, ultimately.
Wow.
So the actual plane they were on was, because I was wondering if there was any other issues with that actual plane.
Yeah.
This was number 404 in production. So there had already been 403 prior. The first prototype of this plane was completed and tested in June 1994, so 20 years before the disappearance. So they're used to it, right? American Airlines here in U.S. was the first to purchase and use the plane for commercial flight. So far, there have been only in all the planes 31 aviation accidents and 541 fatalities, which includes Malaysia Flight 370.
And they had how many on that flight? Over 200?
They had 200 and 200. What was it? 238? 239.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's like the majority of it is just on this one flight. The first fatalities occurred 9 years after production. And Asiana Airlines, it's Asian with an A at the end. Asiana
with an A?
Yeah, Asiana Airlines Flight 215 crash landed, and 307 survived, and 2 were ejected and killed. 1 died 7 days later from injuries sustained from the crash. So even that wasn't, like, they crash landed, but it was fine, and it had already been in production and going for 9 years.
Oh, wow.
So
I wonder why those 2 ejected. Maybe the pressure in the cabin or something?
I don't know. It didn't really go into it.
No, I was just curious.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another one on August 3rd, 2016 in Dubai caught on fire. Nobody died in flight except for a firefighter who was putting it out, so they have to consider it a fatality from that flight, from those, And then in 2017, an airplane caught fire in Singapore while being towed.
Oh, it wasn't even in flight.
It wasn't even in flight, and it just caught fire. There was nothing happened. It was fine.
Yeah, but
it caught fire.
That. Yeah.
So that was one of the aviation accidents. Have you noticed that there's fires?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, how about this
fire.
July 22nd, 2020, an Ethiopian airline plane caught fire in Shanghai Pudong International.
So it's got to be something.
In February 20th, 2021, United Airlines 328 Denver Airport, 2 blades broke off. One was worn out and was spinning and chipped the other blade, which then broke off.
Oh no!
So at that point, they were like, they grounded all the planes that had Pratt and Whitney PW4000 engines on board because they kept catching fire. Meanwhile, the latest one, they didn't do this till 2021.
What?
This went down, the Malaysia flight, I shouldn't say went down.
Right?
2014, yeah.
Wow. That's a long time before they put like a recall on it or whatever.
Yeah, and then the exact plane that was used for Malaysia Flight 370, the number 404, had no accidents or fatalities. The last time it was examined was the day before the disappearance, and that was on March 7th, 2014.
And it passed all of its inspection?
They checked all the safety points, made sure all the in-flight oxygen was properly filled in case of emergency. And they noted that there was nothing alarming or suspicious or weird was broken or needed to be repaired. It was just regular maintenance. So, change the oil, I'm thinking of regular maintenance in a car. Change the oil, change the spark plugs, stuff like that.
Get a new power steering belt.
Yeah, things like that. Make sure brakes work. So, and then at the time of this departure, the plane had already flown 53,471 miles.
This specific plane?
Oh. Over the course of 7,526 trips.
Wow.
So it had well over 7,500 takeoffs and landings. And this is equivalent to flying around the world approximately 1,137 times. Just to give you a...
Whoa.
So this plane...
Yeah.
Is either has a really good track record or it's ready to fall apart and die.
I mean, to me, it sounds like it has a really good track record.
Yeah, there's been nothing weird, nothing at all.
It seems like a really safe plane.
Okay, yeah, but I wonder how long they keep planes before they... You know what I mean? Like a car, they get to 150, 200,000, not getting so safe. Maybe... I'm not sure, what it is for a plane. So this should have been a simple, routine takeoff and fly, 5 hours to land, quick trip, 2,600 miles.
Yeah.
Got it. Done.
Easy peasy.
They do it every day.
Yeah.
The same flight path, the same flight. So, and what happened? They had consistent communication with air traffic control until they didn't. All the communication stopped at 1:19 p.m., 38 minutes after takeoff.
38 minutes? I was going to ask you how far into the
38 minutes they stopped on radio. So they couldn't get a hold of them.
But they still had them on radar, but not on radio?
Yeah, so after they lost communication on radio, the military radar was able to pick them up and track them by plane for another hour, and then it was gone.
Oh, wow. So only an hour and 38 minutes we know about.
Yeah, kind of. We don't know what happened after 38 minutes. We just know where the plane went.
Well, yeah.
So we don't know what's happening in the airplane, what's going on in the cabin. What we do know is that it crossed the Malay Peninsula and the Andaman Sea, which is in the opposite direction of where it's supposed to go. So it looks like it left Malaysia, went northeast into the middle of the South China Sea, and then turned to go southwest back towards Malaysia, passing over a town called Penang. You need to remember the town of Penang. Okay. This is going to come up later. Okay? Does everybody remember Penang? Penang. Then, flying over Penang, they made a straight shot in the western direction. It was more north than south, but more or less it was in the western direction. And Beijing is northeast from Malaysia. So there's literally no reason for that plane to go anywhere that western direction, at all.
Yeah, they're going the wrong direction, definitely.
Especially southwest. That's the exact opposite of where you're trying to go. There's no reason.
I wonder, I don't know. I wonder why it would even do that.
I don't know. So now we have 239 people missing with a plane that just happened to disappear in thin air. Where did it go? So here comes the searching.
Yeah.
This search quickly became the most expensive search in aviation history, which had me thinking, well, what about like Amelia Earhart when she went missing? Didn't they like? She's way more famous. Like, why wouldn't they put all the search? And I'm thinking it's because back then in Amelia Earhart's day, she was it wasn't equivalent to money now. You know what I mean? So maybe, and maybe they didn't have the right technology.
They didn't have the resources, maybe.
They didn't have the resources. So, I mean, like, they could go by ship or by maybe flight, but they didn't have radar. Radar cost money. They didn't have all these expensive planes and whatever, sonar, whatever. I don't know what technology they had then compared to now,
they just
so that's probably the why, because I would think that because I know they searched a lot for Amelia Earhart. Like, I know they
had
did.
To have, yeah,
she was like super important at that point in time. So
we'll have to do a whole thing on her too.
Yeah, I would love to. So they first started to search in the South China Sea because that was the last radio contact. But then the radar said that they were in the Andaman Sea. So they had two search parties going because they were like, well, maybe the satellite and radar got it wrong.
Sure.
Maybe it's, whatever.
It's
so they had them.
Better just to have both parties out there, just a better chance of finding them.
Exactly. So they had two parties going. And then they got information from a satellite that the crash could have taken place in the southern Indian Ocean. So they were looking in the wrong place for weeks.
Oh, no.
Like, and the South China is way over here on, like, islands between the Andaman. And then the whole freaking Indonesia is between Andaman and the fucking South Indian Ocean. So it's like, it's just, they're just all over the place.
It's a large area to also be canvassing for.
Yeah, you have the thing. So they started to look in here, and here, but really it was way down there. Yeah. Sorry, I just showed Heather on the map.
No, she's showing me the map.
So you guys will see the map. It'll be up on Instagram and Facebook and everything.
Well, if you do like the distance between the South China Sea, the Indian Sea, and the Andaman Sea. Is that how you say that?
That's how I've been saying it.
It's like, it kind of makes like a triangle.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is
huge.
But it's like a huge triangle. It's
I don't even know how.
It's like the size of America.
Yeah,
probably. Like, why are you searching? So it's like they're searching high and low in the wrong direction, and then they're like, "Oh, just kidding. Let's go over here." Yeah, so maybe it wasn't the size of America, but still, it'd be like looking for a needle in a haystack, pretty much. Especially, anything in the ocean just drifts away. So, can you imagine how much of that plane was lost before they even started looking in the right spot? Like, how much of it was already destroyed just by it going down and being drifted away by the currents?
Yeah,
do you know how many sunglasses I've lost in the ocean just by, like, a wave coming up? And then me looking, it's gone. Like
it's almost impossible to find anything in the sea. Even like if you know where someone, let's say you're in a boat and they, capsize and they know that they do like a mayday and then the Coast Guard goes out and they try to find the survivors of the ship. They have these big yellow, inflatables. They know exactly where they're supposed to be. And yet they still can barely see them floating, barely see them like bobbing along, and almost don't even see them. But they know exactly where they are. They're
where the mayday happened.
They're looking at them, but they don't see them because that's how
vast. Yeah, how big. Yeah. So
imagine this.
Yeah, and so it's already been down for weeks. So the families were pissed. They were mad that the government, the airlines, everybody not only lost the passengers, but the whole fucking plane.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
Yeah.
And the thing that pissed them off the most was that no one had any official information to give. Nobody had found anything.
Yeah.
At all.
There's nothing to give at that point.
Yeah. Finally, a fucking year later in 2015.
Year?
In 2015, they started to find debris of the plane washing up on the South Indian Ocean. On one of the beaches in the southern Indian Ocean.
Oh, wow. So just below, it, like near Indonesia.
Yeah. And so, they started... oh, no, wait. I'm totally lying. They didn't even start... The plane debris didn't go to the southern Indian Ocean. Oh, no. They started to wash up on the western Indian Ocean.
What?
Like, not even close to where they were looking.
Oh, my gosh. That's even worse.
So there's no way that they were going to find...
They had no idea where they were looking.
No idea. How much time did they waste looking in the wrong seas, the wrong ocean? And maybe if they'd started with the Indian Ocean, the southern Indian Ocean in the beginning, maybe they would have found something sooner, but obviously everything was being pushed to the west during that time, or, in the ocean and the wind
just how the
and
currents
everything.
And the wind, how it worked, yeah.
So they continued their search for 3 years. Nothing was ever found other than the little bit of debris washing ashore. And 3 years is a pretty long time. I give them that. That is a long time to be searching for a needle in a haystack. And that's probably also what attributes to the search being so expensive. And a part of me wants to say, like, fuck, that's a really long time. Like, I would have given up sooner. But then again, if it were my family, I'd be like, nope, keep going.
Well, yeah, they want answers.
And so that's what the family did. And they hired their own search crew. Whoa. After the government gave up, they hired a private company called Ocean Infinity to take over their search. And so then now Ocean Infinity is coming along, looking through all the logs, looking through everything. The government pretty much just handed it over to them at that point. Was like, this is how far we've come, dude. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Pick up where we left off.
Go for it. Like, they're not, like, withholding or hiding or, anything. They're being, like, cooperative. And they're just like, here you go. Here's our info. Good luck. Bye. Ocean Infinity gave up after 6 months.
6 months?
Whether they gave up or the family was just like, fuck, they really, like, the government handed over all this information and even our guys can't fucking find that. I don't know. So
did they run out of funding?
That's what I'm
something?
thinking, because it was private, so they were probably like, well, hell, like, after 6 months and you already have 3 years of research and now you're just continuing on, it really is? Okay. So the only thing that they had to go off was the data from the Inmarsat satellite that the plane last communicated with, which was where they found out that it was in the Indian Ocean somewhere.
Okay.
And the Inmarsat satellite, because I had to search it, because I was like, well, what the fuck is this special? What is it?
I've never heard of that.
All it is just a brand of satellite.
Oh, okay.
It'd be like Motorola or like
okay.
BlackBerry or Samsung, just a brand. It's just it's a British brand, and they have 14 satellites set up all around the globe.
Okay.
So I think that it's from what I kind of read, it was so mobile devices can ping off them.
Oh.
So it'd be like a T-Mobile satellite or a Verizon satellite. The plane probably pinged off of it before disappearing, just like randomly.
Oh, so they got that last
and so maybe what happened was that's why it took them so long to realize that the satellite picked them up over in the Indian Ocean, because their last radar was in the South China Sea. No, in the Andaman Sea. So that's where the radar was last. So that's probably why within the satellite, they were probably going through it later or something. I don't know. But it didn't...
Yeah, they just didn't have that data right away
until later. Who knows why it took them so long. But how weird is it that we're probably pinging off of satellites like right now that aren't even like the British satellites? Like all the satellites.
Never thought about that.
So if somebody had control of all the satellites, they would know where everybody is all the time.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of creepy, but
right?
It's kind of cool at the same time.
For whom?
Well, just in general, like...
Who is it cool for?
It's cool for us that our technology is becoming,
that gnarly, like...
Yeah. I mean, just think how it's going to be in 30 years.
I don't know. That's why we're reading the book 1984. Let's find out. That's kind of scary. Yeah, that's just... Yeah. I don't know. I think it's really, really, really weird that, like, random satellites are probably, like, pinging us. And they probably, like, just destroy the information. You know, they're like, oh, there's these American girls, like, we don't even know where they are. Or something. You know what I mean? Like, after a few months, they're like, just delete that information. But, yeah, I don't know. You know who probably has the power? And who knows where all the satellites are? The Rothschilds or the Rockefellers.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
They control
everything. They know everything.
They control everything.
So now we know everything about the plane. You ready for the conspiracy theories?
Yeah, I thought that was all part of it.
I mean,
those are the actual facts. Okay. I was like...
All right. Yeah, we're only 30 minutes in, and now we're going to do the conspiracy theories.
No, well, that's like, yeah, we have to know, we need to know that.
You need to know the facts so you know. Okay. So, here's one. The ATSB, which is the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, said that it could be a hypoxia event. So that was their formal, after 3 years of searching, thing. It's a hypoxia. And that is when the plane slowly runs out of oxygen due to a leak or hole in the plane that would have caused massive decompression in a very short time. So that's where the decompression of the cabin, and you know, and then usually the oxygen masks come out of that. Well, usually it doesn't really ever happen, but
yeah,
whenever they do the safety briefing before.
So that's a possibility, is that they just ran out of oxygen, so they suffocated and then they crashed.
Yeah, so the pilots would have passed out pretty quickly, and the plane would have gone into autopilot until the plane ran out of gas or it crashed.
Autopilot would make sense why it was randomly turning like the opposite direction.
But autopilot, doesn't it usually know where it's going?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't know.
So this theory, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense because autopilot wouldn't allow the plane to crash anyways, and they had more than enough fuel to go further than that.
So the autopilot would have just landed.
No, it just would have kept flying. It wouldn't have crashed into the ocean, right?
Yeah.
It would have just kept going at an altitude and just kept going until it ran out of gas or crashed into another plane or something. Mm-hmm. But
it would have been going the same flight path.
It would have gone the same flight path, and it wouldn't have made all these turns. And even if it did make all these turns, it wouldn't have crashed right there because they had enough fuel to go 7 hours. 7 hours. It would have gone further than Beijing. It would have gone further. It would have gone way.
Yeah, it would have just
way
kept going.
further.
Maybe it would have went to Russia or something.
Or it would have gone down. Or if it was already going that way, it would have just kept going down the Indian Ocean, way, way, way to the west. It would have it wouldn't have crashed an hour later or so. You know, it would have at least gone another 7 hours, just like they had enough fuel for.
So it probably wasn't that, but I mean, it's a good.
But and then also, like, why would the plane have diverted courses so quickly, suddenly, so suddenly if it was on autopilot?
Somebody must have been controlling it still at that point, and for some reason they turned the plane that way. But why would they turn it that way? Maybe it was hijacked.
Okay, so
is that one of the theories?
That's what I first thought when I did all this. We're gonna get to that one next. But okay, let's get back to the hypoxia, right?
Okay.
Let's pretend the ATSB wasn't just trying to, like, pull the easy way out card, just to be like, okay, here's our official statement of what happened. Okay, bye. We're washing our hands of this. Yeah. Bye-bye now. Because at this point, it had been 4 years. So they've already had the private people. They've had their 3-year search. Then the private people. And then they made their official statement saying it was hypoxia.
Oh, that was the
official statement. So this is so we're still doing facts, but not, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still suspect. That's sus.
So let's pretend that it was an explosive decompression. So let's say that it was just a random massive. There was a hole in the plane. Yeah. Something happened. Mythbusters came along.
Mythbusters.
I
love that.
Proved that so those of you who don't know, Mythbusters is a show. You guys, everybody should know what it is. It's been on for like 35 freaking years.
Is it still on?
I don't know, but everybody's seen it. So they take things like, one of them was like Rose and Jack on the Titanic. Would they both have fit on the door? They just take like random things and they like try to recreate it in a safe environment to see if the myth is true or not. Like, will a seed grow in your belly, and they're like trying to see like could it, so they recreate a belly and put a seed in and wait 10 months and nothing grows.
Yeah.
You know, like stupid
they
things.
Do a lot of,
they do a lot of blows. There's a lot of explosion occurring,
which is fun.
It's super fun. I have no idea. I think they have like 20 seasons though. I think it's like ridiculous.
I think at one point it just was every episode I felt like they were just gonna blow something up. Like
that's all they did. They always had their safety glasses on a mile away with like binoculars to watch.
What are they gonna blow up next?
Yeah,
and it's like the explosion.
And it was always
like
on
nothing to do with like the. I mean, it does,
like,
but it doesn't. It's like, wait, what?
And remember the guy? He had a bald head. He wore the little hat with the glasses.
Yes,
taller, skinny guy with the reddish hair.
I forget their names. There was a girl in it too.
I think she probably came in later. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it was always on that TV channel that had the craziest videos, and I was somewhere, and I think I was at like a hotel or something, so we didn't have like cable. We only had cable, and I got stuck on one of those like watching this. I'm like, dude, this is like YouTube or TikTok before YouTube or TikTok.
Yeah.
This is all we could watch. Is 20 of the most dangerous, dangerous traffic accidents in the world, like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember
the ones where they escape death, and it shows
escape death, the guy
like,
walking across,
and then the car crash, and then he turns like, what the hell happened? And then he just keeps walking.
Yeah, like, it was so crazy that was before YouTube and all that. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so Mythbusters said that if a bullet went through the window, it wouldn't even cause explosive and quick decompression. That wouldn't make any difference to the flight's decompression. So, like a bullet hole.
Yeah.
Because when you're on a flight and you look, there are little holes on the window. Little tiny, like, pinprick holes.
I never noticed. Okay.
So it's definitely not like in the movies where it gets shot down and everybody starts flying through the...
Oh, yeah.
So, there have only been 2 instances in the world where cabin decompression has happened and it caused any sort of fatality.
Really?
Once was in... Yeah, it's not like... You know how whenever
I thought that was like a thing.
That was a total thing, right? People just falling out of the sky left and right?
Yeah.
Just like if you played Mario Brothers a lot when you were little... You always thought quicksand was going to be like a big major deal.
Yeah.
I've never once seen quicksand in my life. I guess, I mean, in Mario, it was always in, like, Egypt, and I haven't been there, but I don't ever hear about quicksand death.
Yeah, you gotta think, that is true. Quicksand seemed like it was gonna be such a problem as an adult
right?
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I was, like really worried about quicksand.
I would play in the field behind my house, and I'd see a muddy pile, like a muddy, like, ditch. I'd be like, oh, shit, could it be quicksand? I don't know.
It's gonna suck me down.
Yeah, we gotta stay away from that. I don't know why.
I think also because that movie, Never Ending Story with Atreyu and quicksand was so heartbreaking. The poor horse. And then that was my first time that I ever even knew or heard of quicksand was a Never Ending Story. And then ever since then, and then probably, like you said, the Mario and stuff, it seemed like a big problem.
It did.
It's not a problem.
There's no problem. I've never seen quicksand. Although, Atreyu, was that even quicksand or was it black tar?
I think it was the Bog of Eternal Stench.
Right?
I don't know what it was.
I don't remember. Whenever I used to watch that when I was a kid, I never thought it was quicksand. And then
I think it was supposed to be quicksand.
It was supposed to, or quicksand-like thing.
But I think it wasn't it in the Bog of the Eternal Stench?
Yeah, it was all like black. It
black.
wasn't. Yeah, I never associated it with quicksand. Anyways,
I did. I thought the Bog of Eternal Stench was a bunch of quicksand bubbling over like boiling or something, like boiling hot quicksand that smelled really bad. That was my interpretation.
Maybe that is what quicksand is. I don't know. Have you ever seen it? Like, I've not even seen documentaries on it. Like, you would think we'd at least see it in real life, like somewhere in a book. I've never even, like, other than Mario.
Wait, is quicksand a real thing?
It is, I think.
I
don't know.
I was like, wait, maybe it's not even a thing.
I don't know.
No,
maybe it is like
a
unicorns, like a fake, like, fantasy thing.
I think that quicksand probably is a real thing, but because we've never seen it. I think it's
so much more dramatic in these, like, movies and games and stuff. I think it's more dramatic. I don't think it's like quicksand, like you go in and you just sink down and you're dead.
Well, I think what it is with quicksand is the more you move, the more it sucks you down.
That's all I got too.
Yeah.
Because when you were playing Mario and you moved without jumping up, you would just go to the bottom.
Yeah.
So that's what I took from it too. But like, where did you get your information from?
Never-ending Story. That's the only place I ever got my information from. Never-ending Story.
I don't know.
If you haven't seen, it's a really good movie. You should go watch it.
So when the so when the movie type massive decompression happened in real life, once it was 1973, engine failure struck a window. So it just said engine failure. So what I'm presuming that means is that part of the engine like flew off and hit a window. And a man was pulled out of the window. So that would almost be like in the movies, but only one man was. Huh. So it wasn't like everything got shoved to the window.
Not everything sucked out.
Not everything sucked out. It was just like one man.
Okay.
I mean, God rest his soul. But it wasn't like in the movies, right?
Okay, yeah. I thought that everyone would get sucked out.
No. Yeah, me too. And then in 2018, Southern Airlines Flight 1380, a woman was partially taken out of a window.
Oh, wow.
But then they pulled her back in.
How scary for her to be like almost sucked out the window and they get pulled back in.
So she ended up dying later.
Oh.
Just from injuries, so she didn't fly again. But
Aww.
So then so she died later, so it's definitely not like in the movie. This isn't a normal occurrence. So on both times the plane was able to like very quickly land, no other casualties, like everything fine, nothing blowing out the window like that, no crazy whirlwind in the plane, nothing else.
Think about those other people on the flight. They must have been traumatized.
I wonder if they flew
again. Probably never flew again.
Or they always kept
this lady sucked out.
Or they kept their seatbelt on and put on some weights on their feet and shit. I don't know. So NASA scientist Jeffrey A. Landis had said that the main factor of decompression in the cabin, it would have to be the size of the hole. That's all that matters, is how big the hole is, obviously. Because if half the freaking plane is, like, you know, like, if the hole is huge, then obviously more wind is going to go through, and...
Okay, no, that makes sense.
So, for major cabin decompression to occur, there would have to be an 11.5-inch hole in the window. So, that is huge. That's a piece of paper. That's this big.
That is pretty big,
That's pretty big, and it would take 100 seconds for decompression to have an effect. Do you know how long 100 seconds is?
That's really fast.
No. Have you ever locked, like, done an alarm code, and it's like, you have 60 seconds to leave, and then you're like running through, like you have the Mission Impossible theme going on, and you're like dun 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 dun, and you're like trying to go through, and then you look back in to be like, oh, I made it. Woo. And it's been like 12 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that feeling. Because when I worked at the dental office, I had to do the code in the morning, and I always be afraid that if I don't do it right, then the police are going to come out, and you have to do it all quick.
Exactly.
And I have to be like, no, I work here. I know the code.
Yeah, but you're all freaked out because you're like, 45 seconds isn't long enough. 30 seconds, I don't have time to put in 4 buttons.
I know.
And then it's like 8 seconds, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I swear to God, 1 minute and 40 seconds is such a long time.
It is. Yeah.
It is when you think about it. And so after 100 seconds at that altitude that a plane would be at, it would be like a ton of 1 ton, so 2,000 pounds of pressure pulling you through that window. So that makes sense if the plane was still up there. By 100 seconds, as soon as the decompression, like as soon as the pilot got word, he'd start bringing down the plane. And then it becomes like a helicopter, right? Helicopters, you can have the window open and nobody's dying.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So you bring it down.
Or what about when people do
the jumping out the plane?
What is it called? Skydiving.
Yeah.
They open the freaking whole door.
Exactly.
And nobody gets sucked out.
All they have to do is get down. And in 100 seconds, like, for it to be enjoyable, nice, whatever, it takes like 10 minutes to get to altitude. But if you're in an emergency situation, I know that plane can get down and just not give a fuck.
They're just going to nosedive.
They're just going to nosedive down to where it's a good altitude and then cruise until they figure out what the fuck to do next.
Everybody's going to be freaking out, but the thing is...
But no one's going to get sucked out of the fucking window.
Yeah, it's a better alternative than getting sucked out the window.
Yeah, exactly. So you think about it, and 100 seconds is a really long time. And that,
If you think about it that way, it is.
Yeah. Because how fast would you just, like, if I was a pilot, I'd be like, and we'd all be like, facing, nosediving literally, would be like almost upside down, trying to get down quick enough.
I'd probably pass out.
I think that
everybody probably would just pass out.
Yeah.
And then
wake up on the ground. We survived.
It'd be like a very intense ride at Magic Mountain. You're then you're like, but then you're okay because you landed safely and you didn't get sucked up. Yeah.
And then you would have a lot of anxiety medicine, go to a lot of therapy, take a lot of Ativan, few Xanax intravenously.
Never fly again.
So I think that it's clear that the over exaggeration in movies where everything is being sucked out and explodes and all this crazy shit
is
just an over exaggeration in Hollywood, and in reality that's not how it would happen. So I think that we can say no, because rapid decompression would be the only cause of lack of oxygen, which would be the most plausible for the hypoxia theory.
Now we just ruined all your Hollywood movies.
Theory. Sorry, guys. So I think that hypoxia thing is a complete scapegoat for the ATSB. I think that they're just saying like, oh, it's hypoxia. That's our official release. That's what happened. They all died of lack of oxygen, plane crash, sorry, bye.
Yeah, they have to come up with something, and that's
all they could come up with. Okay, so the next theory, which is what I thought initially, what you said, hijacking.
Yeah, why not hijacking?
Why not? Sounds good.
I mean, it sounds like it's plausible.
It especially went off course, and there are a few theories as who could have or who wanted to hijack the plane. So at first I thought maybe it was crew involvement because of the Malaysians ATC's failure to attempt to communicate with the flight after the last communication.
Sure.
I guess they didn't really make a lot of attempts to communicate, even though they were like, dude, where are you? And flight's like, radio silence. Dude, where are you? Nothing. Dude, where are you?
So they basically just ghosted them.
Gave up. They ghosted them, and then they were like, well, cool, we're being ghosted. Well, fuck that. So I guess fuck them. We're gonna ghost them too then. Like, I don't know. They didn't communicate how they should have, maybe. They're just lack of communication. And so, not only did the flight lose communication by the pilot, but the air traffic control people weren't trying to communicate either. So, communication is that two-way street.
Yeah.
Takes two people. So, maybe it wasn't just the controller. Maybe they were just having a fight with each other.
I mean, it sounds
maybe the pilot was having, having a control issue. And was like, don't tell me what to do, air traffic flight people.
Well, like you said, if it was hijacked, they're not going to communicate. They're just going to be like, fuck you. I don't care if you want to know where we are because I know my plane now.
But they're saying that the air traffic control didn't communicate like they should have. So why would they have given up?
Maybe there was someone in on it.
Oh, yeah, because that's the thing, yes. So that was part of it. That's why they didn't try to communicate. So, the Ministry of Transport... Which is so weird, the Ministry, because that's like the 1984 book. Uh-huh.
Oh, that is trippy.
That's so weird. I know, I was reading it and I was like, oh my god, this is so not okay. Anyways, it says that it's inconclusive as of July 2018. So they cannot confirm nor deny that it was a hijacking and a crew member was or was not, in fact, involved. ABC News and the LA Times are holding on to the hijacking theory, and that could just be because we are so stuck with 9/11 and the hijacking already happened. I feel like the whole nation is still under PTSD because of it. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's. I feel like it's always in the back of anyone's mind if a plane even diverts off course. It's like, there's a hijacker.
Yeah, that's the first thought that I had is hijacking.
Yes, exactly. So those news outlets think that the plane may have been hijacked and taken to a remote island. LA Times reported that one of the reporters were able to locate over 600 possible nearby landing strips for the plane to disappear to because they had so much gas and shit.
600?
600.
Well, there's a lot of islands out there, huh?
Yeah, there are over 600.
Wow.
However, no terrorist groups have come forward, and due to the fact that they found some plane debris in 2015, we must assume that they did not effectively land the plane. And
They could have crash landed it, and parts still could have gone in the ocean, but maybe majority people. We don't know exactly.
there are 3 people, and I wanted to add these 3 people because I want to say their names. I'm gonna have fun saying their names. Are you ready for this?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Jean-Marc Guerreau, Michel Delarche, and Jean-Luc Marchand.
Are they all French?
I think so.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, they made an entire website about the flight being hijacked and having to make an emergency landing near Christmas Island due to fuel depletion.
Christmas Island?
Yeah.
I've never heard of Christmas Island.
I try to look for it, and it's in the middle of the ocean, nowhere. It's like nowhere.
Huh. That
Yeah.
must be where Santa Claus goes on vacation.
Oh, that may be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. So that would make sense as to why they found debris from the plane, maybe because there was fuel depletion, so they had to like quickly land or something, but it wouldn't explain why or how they used so much fuel since they had more than enough fuel, and why they were going in the wrong direction anyways, because Christmas Island isn't that far off.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. But like, what would they be the purpose of hijacking the plane though? Let's think. Okay, they're gonna hijack the plane, and then they come up on a plane, I guess. But then you can't really fly it anywhere.
Fly it anywhere. You can't do anything with it.
I mean, what's
the motive?
Yeah, I mean, there's people.
You have to deal with all these people. Who wants to deal with people?
Well, what if they're gonna sell them for sex trafficking or organs or slaves or
Okay, well,
was there drugs on the plane? Like what?
Not
you know what
that
I
we're
mean?
aware of.
Like,
but if
what?
there was a crew member
there
involved,
has
there
to
could
be
have been drugs,
something.
maybe. Okay, so the other conspiracy is a terrorist attack, which sounds like a hijacking to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Some people thought it was a specific terrorist group, and they thought that it was the jihad.
Okay.
They say that the plane landed in Afghanistan, and the passengers are being held hostage, or in Pakistan. But it's almost been 10 years.
I don't think it would be in Pakistan though.
I don't know. But either way, it's been 10 years. Are we really to believe they're still holding them all? They're feeding and housing 239 crew and passengers hostage,
No, they wouldn't.
and not telling anybody, because nobody has come forward to be like, "Hey, we're the terrorist group."
Oh yeah, ransom money. They would want ransom money.
They want something. And every terrorist group is like, "Dude, don't look at us. Maybe it was this guy. Don't look at us. Maybe it's that terrorist group." Like all the terrorist groups are like, "No, it's not us." And so that's not correct. Like yeah. Mm-mm. So there's another one. Okay. So this one's kind of out there, but it's so there was a patent number 8671381, which I looked up, and it's a real patent
On the plane or
no, a patent number like to make something, like to have this like mouse. You need a patent number to make the couch.
Like
it's like an invention.
Yeah.
And this invention was I looked it up, and it's about like wafers, like using certain dyes in wafers. I don't really know what any of it means.
What do you mean? What is a wafer?
Like a wafer is like a circular disc with holes in it.
Oh, okay. I've heard of like a wafer, like a cookie.
Yeah,
but not like a.
So like at the shop, whenever we make like, they'll be like wafer, and that means that it's gonna be something with a bunch of little dots.
And
so
it's
anything
thin.
like
Thin,
it's
right?
thin, and then fake like all these with little dots.
Okay.
So it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I held up my notebook and there's a bunch of little dots on my notebook. So not by me, that's just the design of the book. Anyways, so I looked it up, it's real, and it was accepted on March 11th. It was only 3 days after the flight disappeared. Supposedly 3 of the 4 patent owners, which there were 4 names listed on the patent, were on the plane.
Oh,
which would mean that the 4th owner was not on the plane, and the 4th owner wanted all rights to himself, so he made the plane disappear so he could have all of it. So over these 3 people.
Okay, but how's that patent doing these days? Did he even come up if that's even the case?
I'm not sure. I don't know whatever happened with that patent because I don't understand it. It said something about dye in a wafer. I don't know what because the wafer could be for anything.
Okay,
it could even be for like a filter for like a
like an air filter.
An air filter for like a washing machine.
Okay.
Like it literally they use filters for everything. So I don't know. Like it didn't give it any specifics other than it was used for a dye for this. And then I looked up the manifest for Flight 370 to see all the names.
That's a very good point. Who's on this plane?
Who is on the plane?
Anybody important?
So I tried to match up the names with the people on the patent, and I didn't get any, but a lot of those names were like almost similar because like over 50% of the passengers were Chinese, and same with the patent. So they were all
they were like, Chinese.
Yeah,
citizens.
so they were all like XI Wing or PHU. You know, they all have about like they're all pretty well the same
similar names and stuff.
Yeah, they're all like, you know, it'd be like American Smith.
Yeah.
Roberts, you know.
Yeah, very common.
And so it'd be like Tom Jones. We just saw a license plate earlier that said the heart symbol TMJNZ, and I was like, oh my god, they love Tom Jones. Like, what the fuck?
I don't even know who Tom Jones is. Like, I do, but I don't.
What?
Well, it's like before my time.
I know, but haven't you seen Vegas Vacation?
Yeah, but Tom Jones, isn't he, like, wouldn't he be just...
I think he's dead, but he's a singer. He's a really famous singer. He's on that sings something about lady, who's my lady tonight. Hold on, I'm trying to see if he's dead. He's a Welsh singer. Oh my gosh, he's 82. He's still freaking alive.
Oh,
and he just got... Oh, hopefully he didn't get divorced.
He's only 82.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone or someone or something. That song, you know that song?
I do know that
song. That's a song.
I know that song now that you say that.
And
that's
that came out in 1965.
He was probably like a big heartthrob.
He also came out with Sex Bomb in 1999. He is 82 years old. He came out with that when he was like 52. I guess that's not that bad. But he came out with the song Sex Bomb. Yeah, he was like a major
heartthrob. Huh?
Major heartthrob for sure. And he's even a Sir Elton John. He's a Sir Thomas Jones Woodward.
What?
OBE. OBE is a Welsh singer. I don't know.
That's funny.
But he was in Vegas from 1967 to 2011, so but he has like that, it says full-throated, robust baritone. He's like, it's not unusual. I can't believe I'm singing on this. We're gonna have to delete all of this. Fuck that. Nobody can hear my robust Tom Jones baritone. Oh my god. Hold on, we're gonna pause this for a second. I'm gonna go kill myself now. Thank you. And we're back. Still here. So anyways, so I looked at it and I didn't see any of the names from the patent on the manifest for Flight 370. Not saying that I even found the correct manifest. It's the internet. It could have been wrong. It could have been anything. Even the patent I looked up could have been all falsified and fucked up. I mean, it all looked right, but...
Well, based on the information
that I have, it looks like the people on the patent were not any passengers on the plane.
Okay, so
that
false.
Shouldn't be. But based on the information that I have, there is a patent So, I don't know. But the names on it could be wrong. The names on the manifest, like, I don't fucking know. So
well, that's why it's conspiracy theory.
You never know. It wouldn't be a conspiracy theory if it was so easily proven wrong. So, yeah, and then we have the next conspiracy. So if you guys have been counting, that would be conspiracy theory number 5.
Wow, we're on 5?
We're on number 5 and we're still not done. So this one is we're going to call it Diego Garcia.
Diego Garcia?
So I thought it was a person too.
Yeah, it sounds like one of my friends from high school or something.
Right? No, it's an army base and it's located on a little island off of the Indian Ocean. Little island, Diego Garcia. And the little tiny island is actually British territory, and therefore it is ruled under the UK.
Oh, wow.
And it is an extremely small island that does have like citizens on it, kind of like Coronado Island, Nasni. And yeah.
Uh-huh.
So there's like civilians, like half is civilians and half is just military base. And it's an extremely small island that is militarized south of the equator in central Indian Ocean. And it is militarized by the British as well as U.S.
Oh, it's both.
Yeah, in the 1971, the U.S. Navy built a base there and named it Diego Garcia Naval Base.
Okay, well
so
that makes...
DGNB.
That makes more sense why it's Diego Garcia, because the United States. Because I'm like, why would the British think of Diego Garcia?
Right?
Like, it doesn't
that's
add
not
up.
correct. It should be like John Smith.
Yeah, something else.
So by 1976, it was completed, and people were there militarizing and such.
Okay.
Okay. So, here's a theory that the plane was captured by the U.S. and then taken to Diego Garcia Island, or that the plane was directed to land at Diego Garcia.
Okay, yeah, because it did start.
It started to go that way to the west, and And Jay Carney, the White House press secretary at the time, said on March 18th, 2014, that the U.S. had nothing to do with the missing flight. And another source said that the plane was shot down by the U.S. military near Diego Garcia.
Shot down?
So if it was shot down, that would be why there's plane debris coming into the west.
But why would we shoot it down?
I don't know, because we didn't fucking shoot down the weather balloon thingy or whatever balloon that's going on in the air.
Yeah.
We didn't shoot that down all right away, but we shot down those freaking alien things from the Antarctica aliens. So I don't know. We're all just hokey pokey shooting or not. It's either we all shoot it down or nothing. No in between. Residents. Okay, so sorry guys. Okay, so the small civilian town is called. Oh no. Sorry, I'm sorry. There is another small island in the Indian Ocean. It's called Kuta Huvadu.
Kuta Huvadu?
Yes. It's a small island in the Indian Ocean.
That's kind of fun to say.
I know.
Kuta Huvadu.
It reminds me of Zuba Mafu.
Kuta Huvadu.
Yeah, like the I guess there's like a TV show for kids, Zuba Mafu. I see it every so often on the guy.
I don't remember that show.
Anyways, I don't either, but I just saw it every so often, and it was always fun to say. So, anyways, so there's residents on Kuta Huvadu, that say around 6:15 local time p.m. So that should have been the time that they would have landed in Beijing.
Oh.
They were actually in the middle of the Indian Ocean somewhere on this small little island, and they say that they saw a big white jumbo jet with red stripes flying low. That it was so low that they could see the windows and the doors and everything.
Could they see people's faces? Like people
being like ah!
Or like whatever, like help.
No, I don't think so. But they could like make out like the door and the windows, but I don't think they could see it. I don't know.
Wow, that is really low then. So
yeah.
there's eyewitness.
And they were
wait. So there's eyewitness reports at what the time they were supposed to be in Beijing that they saw them
over there. And I definitely believe that that is a lost plane and that they did see this plane.
No, I believe that.
I believe that 100.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a conspiracy.
No, I believe that.
Or anything. The plane at that point, they said, was traveling from the north towards the southeast in the exact opposite direction of Beijing.
Yeah.
Toward the southern, toward the southern.
Yeah, heading south.
Yeah. Which is exactly...
It's the opposite.
Exactly what we were saying. Like, exactly where the plane should have... Like, what...
Oh, yeah.
If it kept going or anything. Some people also believe that the debris is fake and the plane landed safely on Diego Garcia. However, that could just be wishful thinking. And I think it might be wishful.
I mean, yeah, because everyone wants everyone wants
the best, and they want to find the passengers, like on Gilligan's Island and stuff. You know, they want to find them. Oh, good, our family members are safe. They've been chilling on Diego Garcia, taken care of by the U.S. and the U.K. government, and they're all just fine and for whatever. But why?
But why would they hide that if they did land there safely?
No one would keep them this long and not say anything, right? Like, why? It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
There's no sense. So, so that was number 5. I'm going to give you one more, and then I'm done. Because there are so many theories that
there's more?
There's about like 25.
Oh, but you pick
when
like
you
the
start
best ones,
digging.
huh?
Yeah. So there's ones that have a plane. The plane fell into a black hole.
Ooh,
that's not what I'm going over, but there is one.
That's interesting. Wait, a black hole in our...
It was just going and just boom, gone. Or a meteor came and just struck the plane and that's it.
Huh.
And this is all like outer space shit.
Yeah.
Or an alien abduction.
I believe that.
And 4 years to the date after the flight disappeared, someone... Of course, it doesn't say who got these messages. They started to receive weird text messages and voicemails that had coordinates which coincided with the supposed airplane crash site coordinates. So it's coordinating, like it was sending coordinates of where the last time they saw the plane.
Wow, how would they even know
a random,
that?
like, unknown number or something.
Like a burner phone or something?
I don't know, or from space, because it was aliens, so that's why they think it was an alien abduction. So, whatever. The theories are just on and on and on. So, here's my last theory. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this one is about crew suicide and or hijacking. Okay? So, it kind of falls under hijacking, but... crew, but okay.
I didn't even think about that.
So, flight captain Zahari Ahmad Shah's wife and 3 kids had moved out the day before the disappearance. So he was the pilot.
He was in the middle of like a divorce or separation?
A friend claimed he was seeing another woman and that the relationship was rocky. So his wife moved out. His mistress, the one that he's having a mistress with, is kind of rocky. And... it's not looking so good for him. Life is just very plummeting. His wife claims it's all untrue. But why would she say it's true?
Yeah.
If it just happened the day before and now she might be losing life insurance, any monetary value, any sympathy, any other bullshit, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So she's like, no, that's not true. But his friends say it is. And meanwhile, 2 minutes before the boarding... The flight captain had made a 2-minute phone call to an unidentified woman.
The mistress. Had to be the mistress.
Or it's the wife saying, I will never come back to you, I will never do this. Or it was the mistress still like being like, fuck you, like, I don't know.
She's probably like, when are you gonna leave your wife?
Even though you just did, so that make her happy.
Maybe she didn't know.
I don't
maybe
know.
That's when he told her, she's gone, she's
okay,
leaving
it gets better. According to police, well, the FBI, whoever, said, like, top-up people, agencies, said that they found flight simulators at his house that matched the flight pattern, the diverted flight pattern of this flight.
Okay, so he was doing something.
He was practicing going the wrong way, because this flight does the same flight every single time, so he knows that he's gonna do this flight, so then he's planned to divert it. I don't know. But of course the Malaysian government says no, that's not true. That's not right. And get this, as mentioned, remember how I told you? Remember Penang?
Yes.
Penang.
The city they flew over.
Yeah.
What?
They actually supposedly might have flown over it 3 times. That is where he was born. That's his home city. That is where the captain grew up. So the theory goes that the captain wanted to see his hometown again, fly over it, decide if he really wants to, and then bing, down, crash.
But it's not possible that he flew and landed there?
No, because he flew over it. They saw he went the way that the flat, which you guys will see it whenever Heather is gonna post the maps, and you'll see that it goes to Penang and then it immediately diverts.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's starting to go one way and then it diverts to Penang and then it diverts again, like immediately.
Okay.
So I think that the captain was having a hard time at home with both his wife and his marriage and his mistress and affair, that he decided to end it all. And he went through the flight simulator at home, maybe called his wife or mistress to see if he could patch anything up before the flight. They both were like, fuck you, or one of them, whichever one.
Maybe
so,
both of them at
both
that
of them,
point.
who knows?
Yeah.
So he flew by his hometown one last time and then ended it all.
But why take all those innocent
to me
people
is
with you?
because how else is he gonna get a plane? How else would he have access to a plane? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just
well,
go
obviously,
off a cliff.
he's not in his
thinking.
right mind. Yeah, people who are commit suicide are not.
And that's why he's still on radar, but not on the radio, because he's the hijacker, and that's why he's not answering the radio.
He is the hijacker.
Yeah, so he's a hijacker and murder-suicide. So, between the 6 conspiracies I gave you, plus the meteor, aliens, and the black hole, y'all figure out what you want to and do with what you want to on the conspiracies. I'm going with the pilot was like F life, and then also side note, which totally throws a loop in everything, because in 2015 when they found the debris, they have just now in recent years, we're talking like 3-4 years ago, started to say that the debris that was found wasn't even from that plane. So now we're gonna go back, and now you have to relook at all the conspiracies as if there was no debris, and now you have to.
So it's still possible.
And it was actually debris from a different crash altogether. Who knows how long ago, or they're trying to figure it out. So I'm not sure why they would backtrack years later. Maybe they just got maybe they've been looking at it more and figuring it out. Maybe people just trying to come up with their own logic and try to fill in the missing pieces and try to make what works for them for this disappearing flight. I don't know. But y'all know what I think, and y'all do what you want to with this.
I mean, I think that of all of the theories that you've given so far, I think that does seem like the most logical, even though it's not logical to do that. Like, he wasn't thinking logically, like, I'm going to, commit suicide by using this plane and endangering and killing, murdering all of these innocent lives. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. But in his circumstance, I can see if he...
That would be the most logical.
The only other thing that I can think of is if it was hijacked by someone who was on the plane, because maybe there was something smuggled on the plane that we don't know about, like if there was drugs or money or something. Or what if there was drugs or money, and so they had to crash the plane, and maybe that one person who had the drugs, money, etc., jumped off the plane somehow or whatever. I don't know how they would have survived the plane crash. I mean, if they had a parachute
and
or
then
something.
But how would you get on the outside of the plane unless they jumped out really quick? And until they find the black box, they'll never know. And so they need the plane to get to the black box.
So they have found nothing?
Nothing.
It's a true, just disappeared mystery.
Yep. And all we can go off is conspiracy theories at this point. But yeah, like what if they opened the door last minute, jumped out, and then they had guys waiting for them being like, okay, now we're going to go get the money and the drugs or whatever. Yeah. Because now we got it over this international land and now we're over in the West Indian Ocean somewhere and we're cool. But I don't know how it is in other places, but in America, you can't open once the flight started, you have no access to the pilot unless maybe... I'm not sure unless you're a crew member.
They'd have to like force some, or it could have been an inside job.
Yeah,
or they could have. But the thing is if he had the flight simulators and he was already,
unless he was the drug dealing person and had the money with him.
That could be it.
And he was the inside job. Maybe he was running away from the wife, the kids, the marriage, the affair, the bullshit.
It's like, screw you all. I got my own
maybe
thing
he didn't suicide. Maybe it was a hijack and flee situation. Maybe it wasn't a murder-suicide hijacking. Maybe it was just a flea hijacking.
Well,
I don't know.
He still murdered all those people then. Because they're missing.
Oh, yeah, so it'd be a murder-flea hijacking, not a murder-suicide hijacking. It would just be a murder-flea.
I know.
Murder-runaway.
I think that you're right. I think that he was planning it and that it had to do with his marriage.
But if he was planning it, why the phone call? If he was
maybe he was saying goodbye to someone.
If he was,
But
if he was planning it, she just left the night before. How long would he have had time to plan it? Unless the money thing is right, or the drug thing, or the whatever, money, drugs.
The only other thing I can think of is all those people on there was the commodity, you know, like that was the currency, the people for either some kind of sex trafficking,
drug,
slave. There's still slaves in other countries and sex trafficking all over the world, and organ stealing and all kinds of weird stuff that we don't even want to think about, you know, that like you never know.
On the black market, all the kidneys and stuff. Yeah. What if they did go to a small what if they did go to a small island and they're harvesting like kidneys and organs and livers and shit and selling them on the black market? Is the black market even real? It's real, right?
Oh, for sure.
It has to be real somewhere. On the dark web somewhere.
Definitely
I don't know how it all works, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Oh my gosh. Where are those damn tin hats?
That's all real. Unfortunately, that stuff all happens.
Yeah, so I wonder if they took
I mean, that could have been... That's probably more valuable than the cocaine.
Okay, so what if he was like, fuck everything, I'm just going to take this whole plane of people because my whole life is crashing on, and I have the ability to take a plane full of people to this remote, one of the 600 landing strips he could have gone to and all the remote islands, and we're just going to harvest fucking lungs
or maybe he's not the one, he's selling them, you know? Yeah. But he was a father.
I don't think that he would have to go under like hiding or something at some point. He would have to
I'm sure they would protect him, whoever was paying
he'd have to get paid a lot of money and then go under a false name, false identity, he'd have to he's probably in America now. We taking all the fucking falsies.
I hope not. We don't want them. Send them back.
All right, so that was our show for today. It was a pretty long one too. So let us know what you think. And
what do you think happened?
What do you think happened? Are you on Team Jenna that thinks that it was a suicide, or Team Heather for organ? Sex trafficking, organ... the horrible things, not just suicide, instant death. She wants people to suffer.
No, I don't. I don't want people to suffer. Either way, they suffered because either they suffered in a plane crash
instantly,
or they
the humane way.
Well, yeah, I mean, either way, it's horrible. And
the main thing is that people suck, and so we can't take that just because we wouldn't do it. We can't take that out of the conspiracy.
Yeah, no, we definitely would never do any of that.
Yeah.
But we should actually, this is a very serious subject, and we do feel, compassion, and we do feel bad for the people and the family involved. So, we are very upset and sad about it, but we do want to know what happened.
I think everybody wants to know what happened. So... thank you guys for listening to Conspiracies Unlocked, and don't forget to
Like, share, subscribe, and follow.
This is Jen and Heather. Bye.
Bye.